Wait, guys, do you smell that? It smells like... It smells like consistency. Oh, if we're being transparent here, I've gotten a few comments before saying I, World of Ronnie, quote unquote, talk too much? Ah, nonsense. I don't believe it. I consider myself to be a pretty reserved, chill guy, so I can honestly relate to what we're about to discuss here today, which is, drumroll please, the aura and swag silent anime characters give off. Am I saying I have aura and swag? Yes, but that's besides the point. But we all know some anime characters love to just talk and cry and whatnot. But what about them characters that don't have to say but will give you the beats? Now I know there's tons of anime shows and movies about silent characters, like Komi can't communicate, a silent voice, etc. Nah, you know we embrace the violence over here. We love that shit. There's nothing tougher than an anime character that doesn't get too much screen time, doesn't say too much, but will beat yo. Well, you see, everyone has their own definition of aura. Let's start there. You might see somebody that's loud, standing on business, pacing back and forth with straight crash out energy, ready to flip some upside down and be like, nah, that's aura. But my definition of aura, I'm about to describe myself low key. Bear with me, y'all. Is them niggas that hide in the shadows. You barely ever see them. You don't hear them say shit. But when they do pop out, and most of all, when they have some type of face or eye covering, zoo, we, mama. Now I know you're thinking of the Itachi Uchihas, the mobs, the Tomiokas. Nah, I didn't say quiet characters. I said silent. And let's be real for a second. Most tough anime characters are quiet. We can make a whole 5-hour series on that. I'm trying to give love to the niggas that are real life in the shadows. No more than a few sentences each time they pop out. For example, now hold on. Before we get into it, I do have a few honorable mentions because the niggas I chose on this list are personal favorites. I can't lie to y'all. But I know about the niggas like Noro from Tokyo Ghoul, Goblin Slayer, Kanao, whatever her name is from Demon Slayer, Koji Koda. Y'all get my point. There's tons and tons. I can also do a part 2 with your requests in the comments. My boy Toge Inumaki from Jujutsu Kaisen. Look at this nigga's introduction. It was him, Panda, and Maki. And he did not move once. The Za had bro geeked. He gave an occasional blink and that was it. I know the animators went on lunch break for his scenes. And after all that, I was a fan of bro instantly. That's all I needed to see. It took a good 30 seconds for me to watch bro exist and I was hooked. And don't even get me started on his ability. He uses a cursed speech technique. So basically, if he uncovers his precious little mouth, pause, and says something to you, then you have to obey it no matter what. He can tell you to die, don't move, whip it out, subscribe to World of Ronnie. But I was just thinking, imagine this nigga had a speech impediment. But there is a downside to his ability. If he says too many powerful words, it can take a toll on his body, have him coughing up blood and all kind of nasty shit. I'm so glad powers like this don't exist. Who knows what y'all freaky ass niggas would be doing. But his words are so powerful, on the rare occasion he does speak, he can only talk in rice ball ingredients just in case he accidentally bodies one of the homies. But anyways, I told y'all before, we came for the violence. So bang, we're at the Kyoto Sister School Exchange event. This is an annual event that grabs the students from the Kyoto school and students from the Tokyo school and makes them get down to business and throw some hands. And everyone is running their own one-on-one fades. And this girl right here just finished running her fade. And one of the homies called her phone to check up on her. She was like, yo, gang. And all she heard was, sleep. And bang, she was slumped. However that meme goes, you know what I'm talking about? Whoa, I was way off. But that was the first instance of Toge doing some tough, simple shit. He stole the phone off one of the Kyoto students that got his beat and used it to call her and put her lights out too. But there's a third party involved in this friendly scrap. We got the real ops pulling up trying to flip some upside down. And my man Toge gets assigned to hunt them down and bang! Here we go. We finally got the third party ops cornered. And we got this big, deformed, fake Groot. And he was ready to throw hands instantly. But hold on. The man of the hour. I'm glazing, I don't care. All Toge had to do was say don't move and he was stunned. He listened like a good boy. Y'all can't tell me that's not tough. And their hood instincts kicked in. They all started jumping this nigga. Bop, bop, bop. Stomp that nigga out. But they noticed none of the attacks are working. This nigga was basically... And he eventually freed himself from the technique. Then they caught bro again. And we gotta be transparent here. Toge was kinda getting embarrassed. His techniques weren't working. He was on all fours. It was looking bad. His aura was depleting by the second. Until Megumi was like, you knock my homeboy out like that? Hey, I'ma this nigga up. See? This is the other thing about silent characters. Nobody knows when they're pulling up. And then they sneak up out of nowhere and have a crazy intro. Is this aura farming? I don't know. And Toge, with the blood coming from his mouth, walking mad slow with a limp, got all up in this nigga's face and said, "Gotcha, bitch!" And boom! Sent that nigga flying to the nether realm. And Toge dropped to his knees. He went out there and gave it his all. And this nigga got up instantly. Now it may not have went... I don't know what I just said. Y'all don't know how much I stutter making these videos and I always edit it out. Nah, I'm keeping it in here. We gotta be real. 2025, we coming with the real. It may not have went in bro's favor, but y'all see what point I'm trying to make. He's not a main character, but when he does show up briefly in these moments, zoo, we mama. Like that time in the movie he was in the alleyway blowing niggas to bits. Hey, yo, that sounded kind of crazy. He had niggas throwing up all kind of gang signs, hitting backflips, crushing niggas to death. And when him and Panda were trying to jump ghetto, heavy emphasis on trying. But he's low-key one of my favorites in JJK. Just a tough, solid individual. Good day. Another silent character who we really don't see as much, but put belt to a few times, is my boy, Shino of the Aburame clan. Everybody clap it up. Now I know Shino does talk sometimes, but I added him cause we don't really see my boy like that. And most of the time, he's just there, existing. Now Shino doesn't talk too much, but he's a little bit of an oddball. He loves playing with bugs and things of that nature, but we don't judge. To each his own, don't yuck his yum. He's still my boy, but boy oh boy. Shino vs Zaku in the Chunin exams. So Zaku pulled up, and mind you, he's already handicapped. Sasuke, I can't even describe what Sasuke did to this nigga. I covered it in, I don't even know, some older video. Go watch all of them and find it. Why not? Subscribe while you're at it. But it's Shino and Zaku's turn to throw hands. And let's pause and examine the body language of Shino. Hands in his pockets, bang. Shades, bang. Mouth covering, bang. Jacket, bang. I think we all know what this means. Somebody is getting the beats. And before the fade even started, Shino warned Buddy. He said, quit. But he didn't want to listen. He said, shut your up. So he charged at Shino. He wanted to play it fair, so he blocked bro's fist with one hand still in his pocket. But he did get put on his after that. I know I'm a glazer and all that, but I gotta keep it real and let y'all know what really happened. But this right here is what should have made bro find a new profession. Go into sales or trucking or something. This nigga emerged from the smoke as a straight shadow. And then he had bugs crawling from his face. Oh, no. I hate bugs. I would have copped the plea after that. You got it, my guy. This nigga spawned a whole army of parasites. And Zaku started getting tight and went try-hard mode. But Shino made his bugs crawl all over his arms and clog these holes he has in his hands that control wind. And when he tried to blow the wind out of his hands, the bugs caused the pressure to build up and boom! This nigga both of his arms. And then Shino pieced the out of him. With the backhand too, pimp style? And that was it. The bugs tore this nigga up. Shino didn't even want to do it to bro, but he had to do what he had to do. You can never duck a fade. And when this nigga fought the puppet master, Zoo, we mama. This was during the Chunin exams too. Look at how bro was posted up in this tree. I can't even lie, that was tough, gang. But this nigga was quicker on his feet than I expected. He was moving. This nigga was also using full-on bug substitution jutsus. How the Now, listen up y'all. He's not a get up and throw hands type of individual. This whole fight, both of these niggas were hiding out making their clones do all the fighting. But Shino was low-key torturing bro. He had bugs crawling all over this nigga, and this nigga got devoured by the bugs. Have y'all ever rolled down a hill as a kid? That itch is unfathomable. I bet that's what he's feeling right now. But as y'all can see, Shino is a prime example of a nigga that doesn't gotta talk to beat your and he doesn't even need to beat your to beat your if you know what I'm talking about. Straight smarts and manipulation tactics. With the silent aura on top of that, But you know what's even tougher? When the silent character's backstory gets revealed, it's always some crazy shit. It's always like, it all started when they forced me to dismember my entire family and their limbs. All I had to do was stop screaming. Now I vow to never use my voice again. It's always some freaky, twisted shit. People don't even realize the silent characters probably went through the most traumatic as a kid, but guess what? It was worth it. Now you get a nigga like me to glaze you. I feel like every show has that with their silent characters. And I know earlier I said I was showing love to the niggas in the shadows, but now I gotta show love to the niggas that look like shadows. Ha ha ha! Get it? Black. Anyways, my boy Afro Samurai. Yes, I know he's the main character, but I added him for one specific reason. He's black. But this nigga was the definition of a silent assassin. Whenever he pulled up, he maybe said one sentence and then got straight to kicking some. And he always kept a in his mouth. It was a necessity. He would body a nigga, matter of fact an army of niggas, and then smoke all of them immediately with no hesitation. Is it crazy to put him up there with the toughest black anime characters? This nigga was. He let his hands, sword, and this nigga speak for him. This nigga was a real life yapper, but he was funny as shit. And whenever Afro was in the middle of putting belt to there was always some tough beat playing in the background. Me personally, I advise y'all to check this anime out. It's only 5 episodes too, but bang! Afro Samurai's main goal is to body the nigga that bodied his father and took his #1 headband. So Afro is #2, and the rules are anyone can challenge #2, but only #2 can challenge #1. So basically, Afro got to deal with niggas constantly trying to body him for his #2 spot. And this nigga was running through everybody. And in episode 1, this nigga is cornered by a whole army. And he's standing in the middle, sword in hand, in mouth, headband flowing in the wind, shoulders back, penis extended, ready to whoop some. And they started talking. They were like, give up the headband, you nit. Yeah. And guess what Afro said? Nothing. Hence the title. Then he dropped the on the floor. Oh man, that's how you know it's getting serious. And they charged that bro and he started taking off. He was ricocheting a singular bullet into 20 different niggas. Then he started slicing everything and hitting the most athletic backflips, somersaults, just slicing through niggas like butter. And this old man was watching bro through the night vision goggles thinking, I'd pay a pretty penny for that one. And when he was done with his massacre, he looked up at the moon, looked at all the niggas he bodied, pulled out the gas, and hold on. Let's join him, y'all. And then, later on, he ended up throwing hands with his childhood best friend. And his friend was talking the entire fight, and Afro didn't say shit. He didn't even pull out his sword at first. He was toying with this nigga until he sliced the wood. And Afro was like, hold on now. I won't even play like that. And then he low-key started to piece Afro, and that got him tight. And Afro was like, well, since you want to fight so bad, boom. Y'all can tell he was holding back because he still cared about bro. But he still bodied that nigga in the end. And there's so many other tough scenes. In the movie, this nigga was on the bridge putting in work. This nigga was clutching a 2v1 and all 3 of these niggas were moving until Afro hit a 1080 spin move and bodied both of them at the same time. And he finally caught the nigga that bodied his dad. And I don't think I can even show this on here. Just know, justice was served. Haha, get it? The villain's name is Justice. But they really made an anime with a tough main character that doesn't even talk. Hey, they pulled that off. If y'all check this out, y'all are gonna be non-verbal for the rest of the day. Y'all know how once you leave the movie theater, you wanna change your whole personality to copy that one tough character? Hey, I warned y'all. But y'all see what I'm talking about. Silent anime characters are really different. Like I said before, we can get a part 2 with some special requests and whatnot. But thank y'all for tuning in, and I'ma catch y'all niggas later. Subscribe!